Bonjour, bienvenue à Le Français avec KJ. I am KJ and I will be your host today. We are going to continue. Nous allons continuer notre série de Christophe. Okay, so before we get started, let's remind everyone that these courses are designed for students who have learned all the present tense conjugations, who are not afraid of noun, adjective, and verb subject agreement, who have a pretty basic vocabulary and who are ready to move into narration with the passé composé and imparfait, which is kind of our major theme of this. We're telling stories in the past tense. We're also getting into different grammatical topics along the way. So if you're interested in that earlier on stuff, I'll leave a link to my other channel that deals with the beginner material in the description to this video. Now, also before we get started, we have some vocabulary. This time it's mostly verbs that we want to familiarize ourselves with before we get started. So, premièrement, nous avons gémir, which means to moan. We have chuchoter, to whisper. Éblouir, to dazzle. Installer, which is an interesting word. Now, installer, you can use installer as in English to install something, but also installer means to be settled in. So if you hear it used in terms of a person being installé quelque part, that is to be settled into like a room or a place, something like that. You can also use it reflexively to talk about yourself. Je m'installe chez moi. So I get settled in my house. That's how that verb works. Okay, mordre. Oh, look, I've clicked through a few things. So mordre means to bite, and se rapprocher means to get closer to something or, yeah, or someone. And tenter means essayer or to try. Okay, so let's pick up where we left off with our story. Remember, Christophe had gone to see the dentist about his aching tooth that had postponed his presentation. He found out that she is just absolutely gorgeous and he wants to talk to her again. So he makes a plan to show up at her office just one more time.
En gémissant, Christophe est rentré dans le cabinet de la docteure Durand.
Bonsoir, Monsieur Perrin. Vous avez encore mal?
Eh, oui, si je mords, c'est comme une explosion.
Oh, c'est grave.
Tout de suite installé de nouveau dans la salle de consultation, Christophe répétait sa déclaration d'amour en chuchotant.
Vous m'avez ébloui depuis la Novocaine. Mais non, euh, vous êtes si intelligente et gentille. Mais non.
Soudain, la doctoresse Durand est entrée.
Bonsoir, Monsieur Perrin. Vous avez encore mal?
Aïe, oui,
Quand tu mords, Sandrine l'a noté. Et si tu bois des boissons froides?
oui,
Et même si tu bois des boissons chaudes?
oh oui.
La docteure a pris un instrument pointu et s'est rapprochée. Christophe tentait de lui parler, mais pendant l'examen, il ne pouvait rien dire.
Voilà notre coupable.
Aïe,
Un morceau de pistache. Nous allons faire un nettoyage complet. Margot,
Et tout de suite, elle est sortie.
Great. And so now it's time to reflect. Questions. Quelques questions à considérer. D'abord, si tu étais à la place de Christophe, que dirais-tu à la dentiste pour exprimer tes émotions? À ton avis, pourquoi Christophe n'arrive-t-il jamais à parler franchement? He does kind of beat around the bush, doesn't he? Raconte une situation drôle, vraie ou inventée, où quelqu'un voulait parler, mais ne pouvait pas. So to reflect, I decided that I would do a topic that really kind of baffled me when I first learned French because, it's kind of like one of those moments where you want to say ouch, but you don't know how, like, how does that translate? Um, and so I thought, let's learn how to do that, how to express those sensations. Okay. So, aïe is ouch. Okay. So, aïe, ça fait mal. Ouch, that hurts. Oof is like, phew. Okay. When you've just gotten out of a really tenuous situation, you say, oof. So, c'était lourd. Wow, that was heavy. Okay. So you just managed to do something that was really kind of difficult. You would say, phew, like, oof. Wow. That, believe it or not, is wow in French. So, wow, c'est génial. Wow, that's great. This would look like it's pronounced the same way, but there's more stress on the W's. You say, wow, wow, c'est trop vite. And wow means like whoa. Okay. So like, whoa, slow down. C'est trop vite. Whoa, c'est trop vite. Okay. So those are your expressions that you really don't think about, but kind of cool to know. And it's interesting because a lot of times when you're in France and you kind of pick these things up as you're going along, you don't really remember the context in which they were said. So sometimes use oof when really you mean I. So it's good to just know what they mean so that you can use them appropriately. All right, so you can rewind and watch this video as many times as you would like, okay, to retain this information, to learn whatever it is you want to know. I would strongly suggest going back over it to look at the different uses of si in this video, the si clauses, like si tu bois quelque chose chaud, okay, so that we can continue on our mission to use those C clauses. Please feel free to add a comment or questions in the comment section below. And next episode, of course, we're going to move this plot along. We'll focus more on some C clauses and some surprise extra tips. So, as always, I would like to say thank you to Pexels and Unsplash for the images for these videos. I really appreciate these two services so much. Okay, and if you have learned anything or you have just enjoyed listening to these stories, please click like and subscribe because it helps us move this information along to students who may be grappling with learning this material. And as always, I thank you so much for watching until the very end. Until next time, à bientôt. À la prochaine.